Welcome to the Daptor channel. Don't know why I said it like that, but yeah, it's part 2 of ranking every club in the 92 based on size. I've received some interesting comments, but yeah, it's let's get into this. I also just want to say I'm buzzing. We've got Whitworth on loan. Woohoo! We're cooking, lads. We're cooking, but we'll get started off. We're starting at 69th place. And at 69th is Mansfield Town. Don't even think about commenting 69 because it's not funny. Mansfield have got more history than you think. They are. They've been in. It's been a good few years in Championship. In more League Two-ish side, but I'd say this is around the right position for them. It is. I don't know what else you want me to say really. Same with Gillingham really. But 68. They're just. It's just they're just a League Two, really, League Two, maybe League One sized clubs. That's what they are. Same with Crew. I'm getting bored of words to use, but like generally, like Crew, Gillingham, Mansfield, nothing to say for them because they're just like, yeah. Okay, I will talk about Peterborough though because this is an interesting one. I would say this. I'd say like a League One really sized club. I think I would say 66 is probably the right position for them. They're not huge, but like, they're not really small either. I think they're not as big as like people think, but they're not touch up Peterborough. And at 65th is Chesterfield they've got a bit of history, but it's nothing special. I think 65th is the right position for them. They've got most fourth division titles in history. And to be honest with you, the teams around here, you don't really have to speak a lot about them, to be honest. I hate to be neglectful, but you just don't, okay? What's the point? In at 64th is Bournemouth. I mean, Bournemouth as a club, I feel like they're the first Premier League team here, but they're just small. Do you know what I mean? Historically, a League One, League Two level club, they're no bigger than some of the teams that are going to come up next. Like they're titular Bournemouth. I don't think enough people realise that. And at 63rd, I've got Walsall, not the biggest club, but they're not really small either. They are. If you talk to me, like they are, I'd say maybe League One level, good sized club really. But that fall off though. Oh my god! And at 60 seconds, we've got Lincoln City. I know it's an old badge, but I like it more, so I'm using it. They're okay. It's like they're a decently sized club. It's been most of their history in Championship, League One, League Two, but not too much in Championship. To be fair, they're in Championship a lot before World War Two, but I've hardly even reached it since. But yeah, been in National League a few times, but not really many. That's all to really say about Lincoln. Stockport. This is such an odd one because their highs and their lows is even though they've been all the way up to Championship, they've been all the way down to National League North and struggling. So it's an odd one in Stockport. I think 61st is the spot for me. I'd say they're like a third tier side. I think. Same thing with Leyton Orient. Again, they've had some highs. They've had their lows of being stuck in National League. Really, I'd say 60th is probably the right position. To be honest, just kind of around the middle. And 59th is Bristol Rovers again. I think it's the right area for them. They're in just like the middle of the table, around the middle. It's not like quite the halfway point, but it's like the lower end of the middle, which I think is where Bristol Rovers rank. And 58 is Brentford. Like a League One, League Two historically level side, but they've rised up a bit recently. Their attendances are okay. I mean, they're not great. The fans, to be honest, aren't great. But they've also won a championship title, and I'd say the edge out Bristol Rovers, Leyton Orient, Stockport, Lincoln in 58th. Moving on to 57 is Tranmere Rovers, who have one of the worst badges in the EFL, but not one of the worst reputations. I would say that Tranmere are historically like a League One side. They in a very good championship side in the 90s, often in the playoffs a lot in the early 90s. Tranmere almost got to Premier League on multiple occasions. But yeah, I can't really see Tranmere really. I feel like they're just in the middle of the park for me. Same with Oldham. I think they actually fact that they've been in Premier League era at the beginning. I people think they're a bigger club than they are, but they're not small. Or Oldham, I think 56 was the right spot. They spent most of their history in the third tier. Same could be. I think. Can we just copy and paste that, please, to Swindon? Because I think it's the exact same thing. They had a big fall off though after they got to Prem. Never really stabilised in Prem, and I think 55th they are around there. And this is going to be controversial, but at one spot above them, I've got their rivals, Oxford United. Because there's not much separating these two rivals. So I'm about to cough. I feel like before, on lots of rivals, there is stuff to separate them. Like, I actually hate to say it, Plymouth Exeter, Plymouth are much good clubs. Not oh, that's a bad example, not such, but Oxford and Swindon, yeah, they're neck and neck, which is what I love about it. Someone Chelsea Fulham, that's an example. Chelsea much bigger than Fulham. Villa and Birmingham. Villa much bigger than Villa much bigger than Birmingham. This one's very tight though, and that's why Oxford end up one spot above Swindon. And at 53rd is Doncaster Rovers. They're quite big, Donny. They're actually quite a big club. I think they are like. There's a bit of history in the third tier. We've got four fourth divisions. I think it's either 4 or 5 third divisions. So Donny are like a big club. They've been in Championship as well. There's Donny. And Port Vale as well are up there. I think all three sides that have come up from League 2 are quite big. Donny, Port Vale, and Bradford, who are not seen yet. Like not well, and if you're willing to count Wimbledon as like old Wimbledon, although I did put FC Wimbledon down at 76, I want to say. Anyway, yeah, they are a big-ish club. Look, they're not quite the biggest club in their city. I think people that naturally say Stoke are one club city is lying. Port Vale are definitely a big-ish club, and I think I kind of feel like that does go under the radar a bit. So then on to 51st, we got Brighton. They've been in, I'd say like Championship, League 1, League 2 for most of their history, and I think, and obviously they've risen up a lot recently. I think 51st is the right spot, so to be in and around the middle of the EFL, in my personal humble opinion. And then moving on to 50th, we've got those nasty Greens. Being honest, I would say 50th spot is around right. Not huge, but not titch either. Plymouth, which I don't think they've ever been in top 10. They might have like 1 or 2 seasons in there, but Plymouth are, for me, the definition of like a Championship League 1 mid-table kind of team. I think they can never stabilise in the Championship, but they're always going to be good at League 1 level. I think you've got to admit that, unfortunately, and especially at League 2 level, which I have actually dropped into quite a few times. But I'd say Plymouth 50th's around right, and that's honestly not bias. At 49th, we got Luton Town. They are, I think this is, roughly right position. They're not huge, Luton, but they're not small either. And I've said that for like 10 billion clubs out there, but saying again with Luton because it's just a case. League 1 level team, really. Top League 1, bottom end Championship level side. On to 48th is Grimsby Town. And I don't think people realise how big Grimsby are. They are huge. Most of their history in second division, and people are giving them so much slack, saying they belong in League 2. It's crazy, Grimsby are comfortably around the mid. If you take out all the Premier League sides and just look at EFL, Grimsby are definitely top half. on size. Don't definitely top half. The Birmingham Championship, for goodness sake. Do you know what I mean? It's the stadium that's small because the history was so long ago. But must be a big club. And to us, they could definitely be higher on first. But to cap off, we've got Charlton because honestly, they are not that big of a club. Charlton aren't as big as people think. It's recent league positions, and there's a couple next episode which we'll talk about. Just sneaked in that just a titch bit bigger than Charlton because to us they're really not a big club, and I think, but because they reach Premier League, they are branded as one when they're not really. So but yeah. League One level seats side of Charlton. But that is going to cap off our video. So yeah, I'll see you next time for part 3. Enjoy.